So thank you guys for sharing the collective experience and kind of speaking to what I think we all are experiencing pieces of in our own way. I wanted to share that this sort of experience that we're creating or engaging in this ritual is not specific to the Lunar New Year. It's just something that I like to do regularly and have liked. I've always done this even before I understood the real potency of it. And I love to do it with my clients because having a vision for our future, and we're going to unpack that word future later on a little bit, but having a vision that we're operating from is incredibly powerful. Like, I don't even know how to live life without it. And so when we come together on really potent times where it's the Lunar New Year and the new moon and an eclipse and things are feeling really magnified and we have like all of this kind of collective experience that we're sharing, it feels like really good timing to do this together. And so I feel it's more potent, even if you're doing the replay, just having the energy of others engaging in the same process just magnifies it and anchors it for each of us as an individual and as a whole. So I just want to thank you very deeply for your presence here today, for investing in yourself and also in the collective, because that is what this is about, really acknowledging how powerful it is to come together, to create a vision together, to pull back the veil together and become more powerful as a result. Starting with, oh, thank you, Amanda. We're going to start with movement with Jacqueline. So I'm going to hand it over to her. She's going to, warm us up inside and out. So thank you, Jax. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. So beautiful, Amalia. So part of what Amalia and I are creating is this co-creation, this co-facilitating, this co-guidance, co-holding space, all the things. And just for those who don't know, Amalia's in my relationship. We've been friends for over a dozen years. For those of my people here that don't know Amalia, dear friend, and she's currently in Mexico. I'm currently in Costa Rica. For her people that don't know me, and we do things online separately and together. We're also going to be creating a beautiful sacred Soma retreat in November, which, if you haven't been seeing, we'll share more later. Today is not about that, but we just wanted to offer so everyone understood the context of why we're here together. We have a lot of similarities, a lot of crossovers, and of course, we're both unique in our own beautiful individual selves. And I think we both have much admiration and respect. And I know that Amalia has taught me significantly in this new languaging, and I'm just really glad to be here with her and with you all. So the intention, is about that shedding and that tenderness. I love both of those words already spoken. And I want to also amplify, elevate, and invite the energy of the fire and of the horse. And in the practice today, as we move, and then Amalia is going to take over, perhaps we not only listen to the parts of us that perhaps are tired or are tender, the sweet spots. Maybe we also acknowledge, areas that we've been operating from of conditioning, right? And where we operate from of conformity or of constructs. And so today, my final words is an invitation as a horse just really senses into the terrain and really trusts the body and movement. I mean, I forgot how much they weigh, but I know that they weigh a lot. And, their little hooves and their little ankles, just like giraffes and horses and elephants. So considering, our body, our feet, our ankles, the tenderness, the tiny little joints, the tendons, the ligaments, our foundation, right? So we're going to move slowly from the ground up and see if you could trust your instinct. If you could trust the feeling, trust the emotions, trust the tingles, the warmth, the coolness, any information that arises, I invite you to trust it today without wondering why or where it came from. And also notice if there's a part of you that goes to, oh, I got to change it. Oh, I got to fix it. Oh, I don't like this, right? The judgment, that's also part of that conditioning and construct that we're offering and encouraging to move from. And then let's not forget to lighten the fact that we're all human. And those moments will arise. And just like was stated before, the wave, right? And so just notice where you are today on your horse with fire. Let it burn the impurities, tapas. We say in yoga philosophy and yoga practice that discipline, but it's the heat, right? What drives you? And let that be the intention when we continue that takes you hopefully on this journey of a lifetime, because apparently this won't happen for another 60 years. Maybe some of us will still be here. Who knows? So I'm going to invite us to come to all fours. But before you do, let's just take a pause because those were a lot of words. So just notice where you are right now, sitting, or if you're lying down. There will be people watching the replay. So whatever feels best for all of you. And just maybe your eyes are still open. That's okay. So can you notice the space that you're in? Notice the environment that your body is landing. Consider sounds, smells, and maybe a sweet pause with a taste. And since we'll be moving into the physical aspect, just notice what's here now in your body. As we take just 3 breaths in what I'll offer as silence, for you just to notice what's here, however you breathe. And as you take this mental note before we begin our physical practice, just sense with 1 or 2 words for yourself to remember what was here right now for me. And as you do so, when you feel complete, make your way to hands and knees. And if that's not accessible, just stay in a chair. You could still do the similar movement from a chair position. And for those who aren't familiar with my practice, it's not like, I'm not going to say what it's not like. It just is. So just follow along, but to your beat of your own body and your own breath. I'm going to start with my toes tucked. I'll move from side views to forward view, but you don't need to see me. The invitation always is to look within. This is a self-inquiry, self-compassion, self-curiosity. So I just have my toes tucked and my hips starting to rock. And maybe let out 1, 2, or 3 breaths through the mouth if it feels available, just with a sigh, like a and you might start to move a little slower than I just demonstrated. And just as a side note, I hope I'm correct, but Amalia, correct me if I'm wrong. The recording is just on me and Amalia, so I respect those off camera. You're welcome to stay there. Just wanted to name that in case you were curious about that. And then from the side to side, I'm just going to go forward and backward. So your neck is somewhat neutral with the rest of your spine. And let this be yours. So I tend to bend my elbows and lean as far back as I can. Maybe the head touches the mat, maybe not. And your pause through center might take you all the way to the belly, or perhaps just hover over the wrists. So I just give 2 options when I teach most of my practices. So see which option felt best for you. And if there was a third, that's yours. It's always welcome. So just about 5 more breaths here. And as I mentioned, for those who are still seated, you could simply just be doing cow cat or just letting your spine and hips create some organic movement. Yeah, beautiful. For those I see on camera, exactly right. So just really listening. What's here right now? Can we just do a body scan? Toes, ankles, knees. Just a pause, check in, hips. low back, mid, upper. Yeah, what do I sense in my shoulder? Oh, maybe the shoulder's feeling something more deeply. What about my elbows and wrists and my fingers? Yeah. How's my neck right now? Oh, maybe my head wants to drop a little to the right, a little to the left. And let's just take one more little movement, a circular movement. Make a big or small circle. Just go round and round. Again, whatever feels best. And maybe just feel like this sensualness, this slow movement through your senses. Again, bringing that orientation we just did. Smell, sound, taste, and touch. We're here in the touch. And maybe draw your circle the other direction. How is this feeling? And for those who wishing to pause, a nice gentle, if it's gentle in your body, child's pose might be a knees together or knees apart. But for those who are just like, oh, that's not enough movement, just go into your cow and cat, the traditional way, this flexion and extension. So I offer just two again, child's pose or cow and cat. Yeah, see, we get to listen to this moment, to be with what is, noticing perhaps those thoughts that may arise from the past, and clearing away for what is to be and what is to come. Let's be in silence for 3 more breaths. And the invitation, as always, if this is your pause, if this is the area where your body wants to land, please feel free to stay. There's more to come. But if you're ready for more, check in first. Listen for the yes or the no. And if there's a maybe, notice what maybe feels like in your body. And we learn with this nervous system awareness and this self inquiry discernment. What feels right for me now? And if you want to move, come to a little bit of a downward dog, but with your knees lifted. We're just going to use this to transition into a forward fold. So take your time. And if you are in a seat, you could do a forward fold from your seated position in a chair, or perhaps you're on a bed. And I know we didn't mention props. I just happen to always have props blocks with me. Not necessary. If you have the props, place them under your hand. Otherwise, holding opposite elbows. And I like to just offer, maybe you have a table or a chair in front of you. And I like to encourage knees bent. So again, these are options. And then see what's here now. Backs of my legs, back of my neck. Is there a or is there a constriction or a tightness? Notice, can you invite some fluidity, some freedom, maybe by nodding the head or swaying the torso? And before we rise, see if there's a gentle squat. Otherwise, stay here. But the gentle squat might be feet parallel, hips draw down, or perhaps it's more like a football squat, forearms to thighs. And I like to just invite step by step, no rushing. If you're in a deep squat, what's here? It's happening in my ankles. And then some of you will fold to stand. Others might just shoot up like a rocket. So take your time for those who are rolling. And maybe even take your time for those who are standing straight up. And when you're there, meet yourself here, here now. Yeah. And I just start to move my body for a moment, side to side. Eyes can be softly closed or just gently gazing downward. And you choose to continue this swaying or stillness. And I'll be still with my hand on my heart, hand on my abdomen. You could do either or neither. And let's acknowledge this moment with presence. Feel the feet on the ground, connecting towards the earth. I mentioned foundation, feet, ankles. Notice them now. Perhaps with a moment of gratitude, feeling into the space that holds your body. Acknowledging once again, knees. I like to soften my knees so they're not hyperextended. Just notice how that feels. If there's a softening anywhere else through the pelvis, through the diaphragm, the back of the throat. Maybe you feel the areas around your eyebrows soften, your cheeks, your jaw, your tongue. If it's accessible, breathing through the nose. And if it's not, that's okay. We're going to use this as a moment of grounding before we build up the heat, before we move into the breath and meditation by our beautiful Amalia. So just check in. That wasn't a lot, hopefully enough that your body's feeling something new. And as we stand, you're welcome to join, dropping your hands by your sides. I'm just going to invite us to do one of two ways, what I call breath of joy from Kripalu lineage and many other practices. How I like to do it is just an inhale forward, inhale out, inhale up, and then a swing. If that's too much or just not what you're in the mood for, just inhale up and exhale swing. So we'll just do this about 7 or 10 rounds. And this is just for the intention of continuing to feel the body. So I'll inhale, 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 and exhale. Or you're just inhaling and exhaling. But nothing major. Yeah, find your rhythm. So this is about noticing your rhythm. Amalia and I speak to that often, right? Our unique individual, our bio, psychosocial, spiritual lens of all layers, all parts of us. Notice when you get confused, right? If that's arising, it's just a part. And then last 2 or 3, depending on how fast you went and which form you did. This just happens to be one of my favorites. I wasn't planning on it, so it just happened. That's why we come to the space, or I try to come without planning too much. And then when you feel complete, just let it go. Let it go. And now notice. Perhaps there's heat. Perhaps there's some tingling. Mm. And then one more of my other favorites is just a little rotation, what's also known as an empty jacket sleeve twisting, if you will. And I know some of you who have practiced with me and others who have practiced with Amalia. A lot of these are familiar, so please make it yours. You can make it bigger, smaller, faster, slower. And can you sync it with your breath? Yeah, maybe noticing a layer shedding right now. Ah. Last few breaths, last maybe 5 seconds. No right or wrong here. Ah, a lot of sounds coming from me today. Hope that's inspiring and not daunting. So, last 2. Hmm. And as you pause, another breath by yourself, but here as a collective together. And then I'm just going to offer one more little just somatic awareness, soma being of the body and the lived experience, just noticing what's tight, what's soft, what feels contracting, what feels expansive. And so what I like to do is just curl my toes and release my toes, engage the quadriceps, the glutes, and release them. Engage the abdomen, the chest, squeeze and release. Fists, shoulders, squeeze and release. Eyes, nose, little dream of genie, squint, 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 move, 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 and release. Big breath in, let it out. And then the whole body, when you're ready, squeeze, curl, tighten, engage, shrug, all the things, squint. Can you take another sip of air in through the nose and hold your breath at the top? If holding is not available, then just let it go. Otherwise, hold, hold, hold. And when you're ready, let it all go. Here, now. To feel the whole body. What a gift. To notice even parts of you. What a gift. Drawing your arms up towards the ceiling or the sky if you're outside, reaching the whole body and just a little side to side as we complete our full body. Just gentle little tune in, tuning and attuning to what's here now. I might just reach up a little bit higher, lowering the shoulders, lengthening through the spine, somewhat of an extension for some of us. And as you fold, we hinge from the hips. I like to encourage slow movement. Good. For those who like a little bit of a bigger movement, you're welcome to go into a downward facing dog just to transition. Otherwise, I'm crawling back to hands and knees. I'm going to sit to one side of my hip and find my comfortable seat. Some of you might prefer to be on your knees. Some of you might want to grab a blanket or a pillow. And before Amalia takes the mic, I'd love to just offer another sacred pause. Small shift, big shift, no shift. What's here? And if the body is not yet quite ready to be still, might you just sense into another side to side or forward and back movement until you feel that center line, wanting to just find an anchor. I might take another 2 or 3 big breaths, focusing on expansion, but I'll let Amalia go deeper. So just notice the breath. Maybe even the head or wrists want a gentle movement. Anything goes from this position. And as I come to pause, I'll give Amalia the time that she needs.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you for helping us get into our bodies. I am going to bridge the gap between body and breath with humming. So, and you also may stay seated or lie down. This is purely breath and visioning from here on out. You can, you're not on the recording, but you can also feel free to turn the screen off. There's no visual cues left for the rest of the ritual. So being in a position where you feel that your whole breathing apparatus is very available, from your sinuses to your pelvic floor, you feel unobstructed, a nice spacious container. And take a nice deep breath and create a nice low hum. I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear my hum on my mic, but I just want you to try to vibrate your open throat and chest. Mm. And after you kind of hold the tone, let it trail off at the end, and just let that sigh of relief happen, that uh, feeling happen at the end of the hum. And then have another breath. Do this on your own time. Feel your vessel, the air pressure increase everywhere from the face to the pelvis, because that is the whole air pressure container. And then hum, a nice low hum, vibrating the back of your throat and chest. Mm. Just let it trail off at the end. Let the body really kind of melt into the end of that breath. Mm. And we are going to breathe and then go on a little kind of dream journey. So you may want to just find a comfortable place to lie down at some point. When you feel ready, I think lying down will help you just get there into your hypnotic state and be less aware of your body. So you can choose to do that now or after the breath, the first breath. We're going to begin with gamma breathing, simple gamma breath. Each breath will be 3 seconds to either inhale or exhale for three seconds through your nose or mouth, and I'll guide you. So the first breath is inhale mouth, exhale mouth. Inhale mouth, exhale nose. Inhale nose, exhale nose. Inhale nose, exhale mouth. Inhale mouth, exhale mouth. Inhale mouth, exhale nose. Inhale nose, exhale nose. Inhale nose, exhale mouth. Mouth, mouth. Mouth, nose. Nose, nose. Nose, mouth. Mouth, mouth. And drop into the body. Be as comfortable as you can possibly be. Be able to tune into what shift you created with the breath, the feel-good chemicals, hormones rushing through the body, giving you a little buzz. Fascia is a little bit more awake and tingly, just noticing. So I'm going to lay down with you guys. If you haven't already made it there, I'm going to turn off my camera. You can focus on the sound of my voice. Okay. Doing that body scan that you did once, twice, 5 times already, just noticing how each time is peeling back a layer. settling into the sensations in your body, I want you to play this game where you feel as though you just keep peeling back a layer and then peeling one back again, and you just keep peeling back the layers. As soon as you feel that sort of release, that tingle, that feeling of peeling back a layer of tension or something that's unconscious that becomes conscious, just see what it feels like to keep peeling back, and another and another, until you feel very surrendered in your body. And this is a practice of really recognizing how our tissue and our nervous system are mirrors for one another. So you're entering into this conscious process of noticing that you can peel back a layer of tension in the tissue and it can inform the nervous system, or vice versa. However, that process works most intuitively for you, but you notice that they continue to mirror each other and that you can enter into either one of those to affect both. And we want to really be attuned to this state that we're capable of with intentionality, with embodiment, because this is where the creative energy really blooms without restriction, without multitasking in the mind, where we really get to pull all of our attention into this somatic experience, into our ability to vision. And we put a point on that power by severing the attention elsewhere. So gamma breath helps us to access a level of neutrality. So when I say neutrality, where does that read in your body? How does it read in your body? Just those questions are going to come up many times through the practice. What does neutral feel like in my body? Neutrality is about not being attached to something that we want or something that happened, whether it was good or bad, but instead having a clean slate so that we can create new pathways, because that is really how the new thing happens, if we can come first to a place of neutrality. So quantum meditation is what we're going to engage in next. Coming into this state of being helps us to access the quantum field. Quantum meditation is simply an acknowledgement that time isn't linear, and that sometimes when we perceive our future self, when we're trying to project into who that is, we are really tuning into aspects of ourself that exist today in the here and now, either in this 3D reality or in another simultaneous reality. But there's no timeline necessarily connected. It's about just reaching into the field, into the self, into the awareness, and pulling that into your 3D experience today. So rather than a future self, we're orienting to the field of possibilities. And that field can be a sense of within the body and accessing feelings, emotions, awarenesses, and coherence within our body field, and also in the quantum field, where we feel like we're pulling from potential inspiration and possibility. We're going to have another gamma breath. And that gamma breath is to activate this idea that we have access to all of these parts of ourself right now. However long they take to bloom into whatever they're meant to be, that's not really our business. What we're here to access is that seed of potential, that pure presence in our experience of ourself and our body. So another gamma breath the same way, beginning with mouth. Inhale mouth, exhale nose. Inhale nose, exhale nose. Inhale nose, exhale mouth. Mouth, mouth. Mouth, nose. Nose, nose. Nose, mouth. Mouth, mouth. Mouth, nose. Nose, nose. Nose, mouth. Mouth, mouth. And drop in. Maybe there is just a moan or a sigh or a sound or some kind of feedback from your body, a wiggle, a vibration, an urge to shift or give yourself a little hug or rock. Just tuning into the wisdom of those small impulses. So we are journeying now into what it feels like to be in this next layer or level or expression of ourselves and our lives. And because we began with the body, and because everything spirals from this relationship we have with our body, mind, ourself, we're going to tune into that relationship first. So I would like you to tune into or turn towards her, your body, the inner voice, the inner child, the stories, the beliefs. Those are all options. Something may take hold. Ah, that is what I want to hold. That is what feels very true for me. That is what my mind has known, but my body is ready to integrate. What about your relationship to yourself, to your body mind? What is really illuminated here? How do you feel? How do you orient towards her? How do you believe her? How do you care for her? When something arises, imagine this version of yourself has something going on with her body. How does she respond to that? How does she respond with care, interdependence, collaboration, and most importantly, trust? Trust of the body, trust of the self and the experience. Tuning into that, how does it feel in your body to orient to her this way? Feel the spaciousness in the chest, the back of the throat, the jaw, the eyes, just feeling space around all of these areas that we tend to hold unconscious tension. When we truly feel allyship with her, with self, with body mind, how does that read in the body? Where do you feel it? This is the energy signature of this relationship. Tune into that. It's like a key or something that you can flip back to at a moment's notice, because now you know what it feels like to orient to her, to this way, in this way, this next level of allyship, love, self-care, and attunement to this vessel that is creating the frequency that is spiraling out and affecting every other relationship and outcome in our lives. It is not the only player, but it is a big one. And we are on the same team, and it feels so good in the body. And we're going back to that reference point of the nervous system, the belief, the thought, and the tissue, and how they communicate. And we are going to then turn towards an important relationship in our lives. We have so many, but which comes up first? Whatever one, don't question it. This can be a totem for other relationships, but it's also an invitation to go into each significant relationship you have with this level of intentionality when we part after this ritual together, when you're in your journaling part of the ritual. So orient to this person in your life and just feel the feeling in your body when you are in their presence. Perhaps feeling a moment of gratitude for this relationship, or for that feeling in the body that their presence helps you to access. Now, maybe there's a part of you that's aware of some stickiness, some desire to untangle something, even if this relationship is the most beautiful, wonderful aspect of your life. Or perhaps it's the toughest one that you want to decode and understand better this year. Either way, we're tuning into how it feels to find surrender, non-judgment, presence in that relationship, even in the face of that thing that used to feel sticky, and now it feels like it makes sense, like you have space. When you tune into your relationship with this person that is so important to you, and you feel the wholeness of that relationship, the dynamic, multifaceted, beautiful, ever-changing nature of this relationship, but with this new sense of connection, acceptance, deeper love. What have you accessed here in this moment? What is the thing that you realize now is that missing piece to give you this feeling in your body mind of clarity, of ease, and most importantly, of connection, vulnerable connection with this person, feeling seen, feeling as though you can hold all of them. What does that feel like in your body? As though you're doing like a palate cleanser, have a nice deep breath and a sigh of relief, and just this flush of acknowledgement that it is already so. You can already access that feeling. You already see the potential and the vision of that expression in your life, in your relationship. Orienting now to your passion, to the thing that you want to bring to the world. You want to bring children who are held. You want to bring work of healing or change. You want to just bring yourself unencumbered, tuning into what you want to bring to the world. Hold it in your heart. And that is your galloping horse right now. The galloping horse is representing what you are bringing to this world, because that is the energy of this moment. How does it feel to show up, to be seen by the world, to make decisions that not everybody understands and do it unapologetically, knowing that you are doing it because you are devoted to this vision, to this work? Feeling just how unencumbered and unafraid you are to be this person who can bring this energy to the world, your purpose, your passion. Tuning into the identity that is required. We talk a lot about ego dissolution in esoteric practices, but the ego is so important. And she is a big part of this year of the horse. Identity, clarity, voice, power. What does it feel like to bring your work, your purpose, your voice with that much unabashed clarity and confidence? What does it feel like in your body? Begin to focus in one specific way. Picture something in your work that you are doing that carries this energy. It could be you speaking to a group of people. It could be you mothering in your truth. It could be you laying in rest and without an ounce of FOMO. But picture something very specific, a scene in this life, and you in this body, in this vessel that you trust, that is attuned to the rhythms of the land. What is she doing? What are you doing? Are you speaking? Are you laying? Are you snuggling? Are you creating? Are you painting? Are you writing? Are you walking with your best friend? What scene in this life, this purpose-driven life, are you holding onto right now in this moment? Picture it in so much detail. Picture if you are outside or inside, what the light is like, where the sun is in the sky or the moon. If you are alone or next to people, what the fabric of your clothes feel like on your skin. What are the sounds that you hear around you in this scene of your life that you are diving into with clarity and detail like never before? What does it feel like to inhabit the body, your body, in this moment? How does the skeleton and the tissue feel? How is it carrying you or holding you while you're doing whatever you are envisioning? How is the breath moving? How do your words, actions, or simply your frequency, how does it emanate? How does it come out in its purest form? Spend another minute just swimming in this vision. Tasting, smelling, touching, feeling, seeing every aspect. Noticing how the vibration in your body in this expression of you, what does it feel like? What is the energy signature of this moment? And we are going to hold that feeling in the body. Really try to tune into sort of the juiciness, the warmth, maybe that sense of load distribution where every little inch of you feels tingly and warm, but no particular spots of heat or density. Just this nice, even energy distribution through the whole body to your fingernails and toenails. Hold on to the ease, the clarity, the sense of self and connection and worthiness. What does it feel like in your body? I'm going to do another breath, and it's a little bit more involved. If I say medium, that's a 3-second breath. If I say fast, it's 1 second. If I say long, it's 5 seconds. In mouth, medium. In more. In more. In more. Out mouth, in mouth, medium. Out mouth, in nose, slow. Out nose, in nose, medium. Out nose, in mouth, fast. Out mouth, in mouth, medium. In more, in more, in more. Out nose, in mouth, slow. Out nose, in nose, medium. Out mouth, in nose, fast. Out mouth, in mouth, medium. In more, in more, and more. Hold your breath for as long as you're comfortable. This is not about suffering or competition. It is feeling the expansion of energy in your vessel. So you hold the breath as long as that is true. You hold it and you let that feeling that you were tuning into just anchor into your system. Whenever the body wants to let go, just let the breath go easy. No rush to let that breath go. Sometimes it feels like it just wants to hold on forever. Once you let the breath go, just feel that sigh of relief. Maybe take 1 or 2 more breaths to intentionally sigh of relief, tuning into that mirror of the tissue and the nervous system. Mm, that is an amplification breath. That is a breath that helps us, our brain and our operating systems, understand that what we were holding and envisioning is something we want to amplify in our subconscious to help us repattern and access these existing parts of us that we want to pull forth into the here and now. My prayer for you is that you stay here in your body as long as you want, without rushing, without thinking about the next thing, and even noticing that that creeps in, and then choosing to stay with this process and with yourself and dedicating just a few more minutes and really putting a bow on this. Because once your body asks you to get up, if you stay attuned, you will get up and stay a little bit connected to this dream state while you write. And I would love for you to write similarly to how we visioned together what you see for your work purpose potential, what you see for your relationships with yourself first and with the people who are important to you in your life, what you see for the vision of the world and how you are a small piece of that. Write with the attunement of how it feels in the body. Try not to let the mind take over. Let the pen just move itself and see what comes through. Without any more interruption or direction, I would like to just say goodbye. I love you. Happy New Year. Please stay with this energy and give yourself the whole ritual, the whole practice. And I would love to hear back from you if you would like to share what came through. Sending so much love and faith that we are all a part of this beautiful vision that's coming to fruition this year. Blessings.